Happy Monday, everybody. October 17th. It's snowing in Richland Center. Strandlie, is it snowing? And do you live in Edgerton still, or where do you live now, besides jail? So,
It was snowing here earlier. Now it's not.
okay. Gotcha. We're the plan is to have Mark Wittenbach on tonight, John, our 2022 light limited super stock points champion. So I can't believe that a couple weeks ago we were still pulling in Monroe, and now the weather just, I feel like the fall, it can be 82 or it can be 42 in Wisconsin. So
You never know. At least the ground temps are warm enough that it's not sticking. So.
yep. Oh,
But
we got Mark Cartwright. Mr. Cartwright's on. How are you, sir?
Just fine.
Welcome to
Hey, Mark.
welcome to Down and Dirty with the Badger State Tractor Pullers, Mark. So glad to have you on tonight.
No problem, sir.
Well, I'm going to go searching for some Cartwright videos, Strandlie. You start talking to Mark because I had some Wittenbach stuff queued up. So, because he's going to come on later, and nobody told me Mark was coming on. So maybe I got to read the text right.
Yeah,
I'm old school and I don't have all them fancy phones, Jason. So we just got the link.
Okay, good. Sounds good. John, take it away, buddy.
well, congratulations. Congratulations on an awesome season for you guys, and is a job well done. I'm sure it's something you've really been pushing for the 640 class or 540 class. Excuse me.
Yeah, John. Andy won it a couple of years ago, but it was a long time for me to get there. I never won Badger State points before, so this was the first time. And of course, dealing with all the issues on the tractors, it's been very trying. I mean, we got mine to run pretty good now and did real well. 5 wins out of 10 hooks was pretty impressive to me versus even winning the points. I mean, most of the time the points leader doesn't win that many. I mean, and us with only 10 hooks, we had 12, but we got 2 rainouts. So Andy's tractor's been giving us a lot of headaches, and we got it solved at Monroe as far as the motor, and we're dealing with tires on it, but hopefully we can have a great year next year.
Well, the way you guys were going at it this year between both of you and having your third tractor on there some as well, it was an exceptional year for you guys. Where did you get started in tractor pulling?
What was that? I didn't hear it all, John.
When and where did you get started in tractor pulling? Who got you into it?
Well, Andy was messing around a little bit with my brother-in-law and that, and Dick Ruff had a tractor for sale, and I asked Mike if she wanted to go and look at it, and she said no. So I went and looked at it, and I told Ruff, I'll give you $100 down until I get approval. And it's not, keep the 100. I called him Monday. That was on a Sunday. And Monday night, I said, I'll be there Tuesday night to pick it up. And then I went out and told that Jefferson, and Andy didn't even know I owned the tractor. And it all went on from there. That was altered class. And it's been 2007's when I started. So that sums it up pretty much.
So an itch led to where you're at now.
Yeah, it's an addiction now, though. I mean, to be honest, I got 3 of them sitting in the shed, and the one's for sale, and hopefully it goes down the road and we just have the 2. So
That's leftovers tractor you had that as a 466 before, and then you sell it and then bought it back. Yeah,
I sold it to a guy down in Southern Illinois, and it ran down there in that 466 class at 8,500 down there, and they ruined the motor on it, and it sat for a couple of years, and finally I bought it back. I stupidly paid too much and had to rebuild the whole motor, put a new motor in it and that. And I was going to pull in PI, and then I pulled there a couple of times, and you drive 3 hours and you wait 5 hours to hook, and you come home with $60. And I said, nah, I said, we'll just use it for a class filler for 540 to help out. So, I mean, it's got a 3x4 charger at 466. That's what we were pulling it. I mean, he was only 10 feet behind Andy the last time, you know. So that hopefully it's possibly going to Vermont. The guy that drove it at Monroe, he really wants it, but I don't know if his checkbook's big enough. So,
Well, and being able to afford is two different things.
well, yeah, and that gets to be a challenge some days. So,
Who other than Andy helps you out with the whole program?
well, Andy is the kingpin, and Josh Ninneman, Black Stallion Tractors, basically stays pretty much in our shed most of the time. Between those two guys, they do the work, and of course, you know who funds it, dear old dad.
Everybody needs a guy like that.
Yep, and I can see Greg and Greg's probably in the same boat there, you know. Hey, Dad, we need this, or
Yep.
Dad, we need that.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Never ends.
I created that myself, so it's our own darn fault. You know that.
Yep. Right?
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. It is getting worse, but it's the way
Yeah,
it goes.
we could have bigger problems,
Yep.
you know.
Good.
Talking about that, Greg, I don't know if you saw anything
Yeah,
on
I think
Facebook.
it's pretty good.
I kind of lost you, John, but Greg, did you see on Facebook at all today about the silo that collapsed on a barn out there in the west?
No, I didn't. I just got out of the shop here and I was late getting here. So yeah. No, where was that at?
Well, Geezy had it on, and someplace over that way, the guy, they finished filling the silo, it's Steve's silo yesterday, and the chopper was parked by it, and the silo came down on the chopper and the tractor and the blower in the barn, and they don't know if any cows got smothered or not, but you know, so we all could have bigger problems than what we got.
Right. 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 It happens all the time anymore. The way the guys are filling silos so fast, they tip over, you know, they don't settle. In the old days, it took 3-4 days to fill a silo with a chopper. Now you fill them in 3 hours.
Yeah, and if you don't have that distributor or something goes wrong with the distributor and it all goes to one side, the silo and packs that way, that's definitely an issue.
Right. Right.
So,
Mark, what was your biggest challenge to getting through this year with pulling? What was, did you have any problems to overcome, or everything worked pretty good this year?
no, we had a lot of tire issues in the past, and a lot of motor problems with my tractor. It was injection and that. And if you don't mind me saying, Fair Valley helped us a lot, and the tires went down to Bob Nichols, and old pair of tires that somebody else didn't use, and I ended up buying them. They worked well, and we've learned a lot about tires, and we're still learning a lot. And Andy's tractor, we melted it. We melted it before Highland and rebuilt it and melted it again at Highland and then rebuilt it for Monroe. And now it's good to go. Someday when we're face to face, I'll tell you what it entailed.
Right. Well, I've done it a few times myself. There's always something you forget, and I broke 3 cranks one time before I figured out what the problem was.
Well, this was an oiling problem, and the pistons weren't getting enough, and he scored up 3 pistons, and before that it was injector problems, and we cut oil galleys in the block with a grinder and changed the hole size on the oilers and dropped the oil pressure 35 pounds, and now the motor runs cool.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Yep. So that ain't too big as long as you got through it. Every year when you're in the points lead or in the race, it seems like when something goes wrong, you're more willing to work on it, going for the next event.
Well, there was a couple of days that almost got pushed. His tractor almost got pushed in the corner. I mean, it's kind of unique that the two tractors are 1 and 2. I sure wish Colin would have been there to finish the season and Paulson, but things happen, and that could be us next year. You don't know.
Right.
So,
You never know. So, what do you have any plans for this winter for redoing it or doing anything different with it?
well, we're definitely got to get squared away on a set of tires for Andy's tractor, and mine's coming apart to take care of the oiling thing. Those will be the two biggest things. Other than that, there's some possibility of a new turbo coming out. And again, I mean, we're pushing that horsepower just like you guys are, and they got a new turbo that might add 200 to 300 more. So we'll be pushing that 3,000 for sure.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see. And of course, as well as I do, it's hard to get the parts when you want them.
Yeah, and sometimes the newer turbos, you want to let somebody else run them for a while too and see if they're going to survive a little bit. You don't like guinea pig.
That's the thing. I agree with that. That's really big. So,
Yeah. Roger, I don't know how you say his last name, Krosharek.
Kosharik. He misses the D21, Mark.
Yeah, we've been throwing that idea around. Seems though that they accepted different sheet metal. So we've been throwing that idea around of going and taking one of the red tractors and putting D21 sheet metal on it. But I got too many other health issues to get worked through first. And if those let us go and we make it down the way, that'll be great.
Chris Asherman says, congratulations, Mark. Very happy for you this year. Great job.
I see
Brett
that.
Geek says, Mark, what changes did you do this year on the tractor that helped you get the championship?
Tires and injection pump. Those are the two only things that my tractor had done.
Do you think a lot of times it's just luck of the draw too in the position hook order? Do you think that helps?
You are so correct. I mean, that's a big part of it, Greg. And it's just the luck of the draw. And somebody else said, I congratulated him and Tommy Galax, and he said, we just got lucky. I feel that same way.
Yeah. Jason Round congratulated me on a win in Warren, and he came the next poll. He wasn't there, and he said to me, "How'd you do it?" I said, "I just got lucky." And he says, "How's that?" I said, "You weren't here with the with the other tractor that he's been winning everything with." So luck is a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, nope. How you got anything going on, John? You got anything new this year? Or for Mark? Or John, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Greg. That's John didn't answer yet.
Yeah. Well, I heard that like everybody was talking about Mitas tires, and now they stopped making recreational tires.
What do you mean by recreational?
Well, for pulling tires, and I don't know if they're for off-road stuff like that. They said they're not making recreational tires anymore is what I heard. I don't know if that's true or if anybody else heard that.
I hadn't heard that. There's a set in my shop on the tractor that I took because Bob had them there, and between him and Robbie Lemke, we were kind of convinced to try them. And to be honest, we feel there's not enough bar on them to work in our class because we don't have the weight at 8,500 pounds. So I'd be interesting to hear what they have to say.
Yeah.
So
So
I see Ladwick congratulated us. He's all about if we would accept component chassis, he would come join the class. I mean, we're all trying to get more tractors in the class, but man, it's tough. Now, you might know something about this, Greg. Did J.J. Johnson end up building a tractor? I heard he was.
yeah, he is. I heard he was. I thought he was getting closer with it. I can't say for sure. I know he was building one. I don't know for sure how far it is. He's probably watching. Let us know.
Yeah, Strandlie should know that. So
Yeah. I don't know. You hear that,
Stanley
John?
doesn't come through very well. I can't hear him half the time.
Is JJ building one? There's Terry Benson with a comment. Anybody hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I
Kind of-
can't hear Strandlie at all.
So next year, you guys are going to be looking for more hooks as a class, I'm sure. You think you have any new tractors coming out to help with the numbers?
The only one that I know of, Greg, is the case guys. Robbie's working on the motor, and they're claiming to be out. They talked about trying to make it this year, and as long as we let them run the case sheet metal, they intend on being out. And if JJ would make it, that'd be great. I don't know if Troy's tractor will come down or not, but I mean, Troy's went north and that way. I mean, a couple of guys, Kurt Cook, Al Cook, is kind of disgruntled, and he's talked about maybe pulling more Badger State. And when Strandlie asked about getting started pulling, that started out with that altered stuff, and worked our way into Badger Hot Farm, and we had a lot of fun there. Didn't do a whole lot, but the pro farms we did. But to be honest about it, you guys have got the greatest organization going, and I mean, we went to a couple NTPAs and we did all right. And I guess the more tractors we could scrape up would be great. But that's about all. That's what I'm aware of right now, Greg.
Yeah.
Stephanie was a great addition and did very well for not having ever pulled before in her lifetime.
Yeah, she did good.
Yeah, I mean, and they read the track, and like you said, sometimes it's luck of the draw. They had that happen to them at Hillsboro, and it just all fell together. And I'm very proud of her for coming and helping.
Yep.
So
we'll welcome anybody, right? As long as you play by the rules, you can come.
Yeah, that's the whole key right there. Just what you said.
JJ said, if you guys can see the screen, he said, yes, I hope to have it out next year. So
great.
I'm pretty sure he bought a John Deere out of Illinois, but I can't confirm that 100%. Strandlie, can you talk and see if we can hear you yet? John's talking to himself. Shoot.
Right.
Burkholz says, congrats, Mark.
Thanks.
He texted me, Cartwright, and said, don't tell Mark this, but he's a lucky SOB that we didn't finish the season. I'm teasing. I'm teasing Colin. Colin watched so.
Colin, every time when I got done with the health conditions, I pulled the tractor into the pits and sat on the tractor or whatever, and they'd all come over, and when it was done, and say, well, who won? And Colin says, you did. What do you mean? Yeah, you won. He says, I'm tired of telling you that you won. Yeah, but we had a lot of fun. That's most important, that you can shake hands and talk to one another all the time, and not, if you got a problem, iron it out and move on.
Yep. No, I agree 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if Strandlie can get back on in a little bit. He started out really bad internet tonight, so I'm not 100% sure what happened. So
How many more guys got coming tonight?
What's that?
How many more guys got coming to join you?
I'm not hearing what whoever's saying whatever.
I say, how many more points leaders do you got coming tonight to talk to you?
Well, I was so hoping to get Mark Wittenbach on here, but I had him planned.
I texted him, Greg.
Did he? I called him and tried to text him, see if he would answer, but he didn't answer. So we'll try next week or try and get a hold of him again. If you want to try and call him,
Yep.
Jason.
Yeah, I can log off and try to call him. Give me a second.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yep.
I
You
don't
got
know
all
what happened
kinds of
to-
input here now, John.
What's that?
You got all kinds of input here now that you're back on.
I was putting some in, but that's the most quiet time I've ever had.
I agree.
Honestly, Strandlie, that was the most sense you've ever made to all of us. Even Cartwright said that. So
Right?
Can't say that I blame them.
Right? Nobody here to prompt you.
Yeah. Mark, what do you do for a living?
Landscape contractor, and we have dumpsters, just kind of stuff that nobody else gets into. We're kind of a 911 company, and we bought an excavator this spring from Salama, a bigger one, John Deere 160, and word got out on the street, and Andy dug his 22nd basement today in Milwaukee for Habitat for Humanity down there. And they're talking about 30 next year if they get the funding. They've already committed to 3. So that's taken up a lot of time right there. And we have to haul all that fill from Milwaukee to New Berlin because there's no place to dump it, obviously, in Milwaukee. So we've got a lot of trucking's been going on.
Yeah, that you can get paid pretty good for that right now because there isn't many guys that are doing it.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody's been so busy, but the breaks kind of, all the builders down here, the big ones, threw the brakes on spec houses about 3 weeks ago when interest started going up, and with 7% interest, new home construction is going to be soft for a bit.
Right. And it's devaluing the guys' homes that they have now too,
That's the big thing. I mean, we had a lot of people down here that paid $20,000 to $30,000 more when they bought the house last year in 2021 and 2020 than the house appraised at.
Yeah.
yeah, but they had to, as a mortgage lender, they had to bring that extra cash to closing if it didn't appraise. So it's not like we were borrowing the money and going crazy over like we did in 08 and 09. So I just want to stick up for us mortgage guys a little bit. So
Well, I
Yeah.
appreciate that, but still, as well as I do, when the devalue and everything, my daughter-in-law, Andy's wife, she's in the loan department for Citizens Bank, which is pretty strong in our area. And she says, it's just crazy, and where it's going to go and what's going to happen and so on and so forth.
yeah, no competition strong. It's expensive to build right now. And a lot of people got inspired to buy during the low rates. And now they're all, and then landlords are raising rents up. So yeah, I totally get it. So
Yep. No. But the landscaping
Mark,
business is good for you, right?
What's that?
The landscaping business has been pretty good for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, I started in 2000. We've been good. We've had our ups and downs, just like anything else, Greg, but in the long run, it's been okay.
hey, Mark, can you just get a little closer to the computer like you were before? I know you're probably more comfortable. You sound better when you're up close like that. So,
Okay.
thank you.
Yep.
So it's all, the big thing was we had 21 people working when 9/11 hit, and now we're down to 9 of us, and so things all change, And that's same thing with you guys on your philosophy on farming.
Yep.
Terry Benson had a great on there. What was that again, Jason? Can you pull that up?
Yep. Give me a second.
Terry Benson says, congratulations, Mark. I told you didn't need a new chassis, just tires, and make work what you have. Be careful about how much bar you put on them.
Yeah, I know who he is now that that got brought up. He's a good friend of Robbie's, and I talked to him several times and so on and so forth. So
Didn't Terry have the Hayride Super Farms back in the day?
Yep.
Or Red Storm?
Yep.
Red Storm, I believe it was.
Yep. That's a 4-1 now, I think, down south. I think I pulled against it this summer, maybe in Missouri. Does that feel right? I feel like that feels right. Greg, you had your wheels turned to the left there a little bit in that pass.
Yep.
Let's watch this. Let's critique Greg Elsing, the president of Badger State Tractor Pullers, driving his beautiful Pro Stock.
It worked though.
Yeah. Go left, go left, go left. No, I've done that so many times. I just have to pick on you.
Well, I got the power steering in there now. You do it, you don't even know you're doing it.
Correct.
Correct.
That one guy with that 540 Alice over there in Iowa, he broke the front end off and had her tip sideways at that one pull I see on Mindy toward me.
Yeah,
I seen that. Hey, Jason had a great question he asked last week, and I want to ask you. If you could have any pull, what tractor would it be and what pull would it be at? No questions asked, no worry about anything breaking. What tractor and what class would that be in?
I didn't quite understand all that, but you were breaking up periodically there again.
I'll do it, John. Mark, if you could take the keys to any pulling vehicle, past or present, and this is Ryan Rusink's question. He asks us every Monday night on our Let's Grow Pulling. You could take the keys to any pulling tractor, truck, anything in the world, and go pull it anywhere. You don't have to fix it if you break it. What would you drive and where would you pull it?
Well, I'll tell you what, Baraboo was my success at 370 some feet. So, I guess I'd go to Baraboo, and I guess I really don't have a huge desire, but if I was able to drive a Pro Stock, I'd give it a try one time.
Yeah.
Any particular Pro Stock, Mark? Anybody, or just any Pro Stock?
Well, you might as well take Lemke's. You might as well go for the kill.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have been following that sled guy up north, but he says he don't want to pull Badger State anymore because we're hard on his equipment, and he sold a yellow sled to that Chad Islandfelt and several other guys up there, that NEW motor.
Right.
So, he was cussing at us. We're too hard on his equipment.
Yeah, we hear that a lot, but they've, you get to some of these other newer sleds now, they're built a lot heavier. The drive lines in them are just better.
I can understand that.
Yeah. So everybody's making more horsepower, so the sleds got to catch up to.
Mm-hmm.
And they will. They will.
And they got just as much maintenance too as the pulling tractors and trucks do. They got to stay on top of the whole program as well to put on a good show. So they're a lot of work as well.
If not, I think they do more. They need to do more maintenance than a tractor does. They go down the track 70 times a night.
Yep. Yeah, I'd go with that.
Yep. But that's looking at coming up. So,
Mark, who would you like to thank that helps out, like sponsoring wise or places that help machine stuff or buy parts from, or who helps you out that way with the program? Anybody you'd like to thank?
Well, Robbie built pretty much everything there, and Atlas tractor, and Bob Nichols did the tires this year, and Hawthorne has been involved, and other than that, Andy pulls the wrenches, and Josh is there helping, and Grandma's sitting here listening is our big cheerleader and puts up with us. So that's pretty much the whole program.
Mark,
And
Mark, did you guys hook early at Baraboo or later? I can't remember.
I don't
When you went
remember.
like 900 feet.
I forget when it was, but I could have took it to the fence, but I let out on it, and there, I don't know how much more I'd have got, but
No, I'm trying to find the video of it, Mark. So
I didn't want to hurt the front end and then have to worry about fixing it.
yeah, was it daylight or was it night? Do you remember?
It was daylight. When Greg told us we were going to pull, I shook my head and said, man, I don't think it's going to work. But it sure did. Greg and those guys made it come around. And out of curiosity, did we do okay on that benefit pull or not?
Oh yeah. Yep.
That's good.
We'll be close to that $100,000 mark again.
Cool.
Yep.
That's great.
There's a few.
Here's my tractor.
There it is.
You ran the right line.
Yep.
Almost to the fence.
That's
Yep.
pretty close to the fence there, Cartwright. So
Yep.
here, let's listen to it. How about that? That sounds better. Got to turn my sound on. Present screen audio.
That's a great track. I love that track.
Yeah, you won a few times in a row there.
That's
Throw the shoots. Throw the shoots.
That's about what I needed too. And I couldn't honestly believe it. I drove back to the pits and I just sat there astounded that that's the first time the tractor ever hooked up that great. And the first time it ran that great, injection pump had just came back, and it was great. There's just no getting around it. So no, we're not going to do any indoor.
Somebody put on indoor goal.
Stephanie said, why don't you enter to go to Louisville? And we also plow snow, and that just kind of gets to be a conflict. And even the Badger State Convention gets to be a problem. Somebody has to hurry home to salt or something. So honestly, the indoor pulling's fun, but it's way too much work.
It is.
And we always get a shot of snow or sleet or something at the Badger State Banquet, I feel like, every year. So
Yep. I'm thinking they're
Something, yeah.
the way things are going. But
Never know. Hopefully it's a great night for everybody and everybody enjoys it, and we don't have too big a deal with anybody arguing over changing things.
yep.
Come up with a name Never Satisfied.
Nah, that's a little something between me and my wife and whatever. And I kept on building too many tractors, and she says, you're never satisfied. So we stuck it on there, and that little cartoon guy that's on there, guy uptown made that and put it on there. And so it all turned out pretty neat. I think it's neat. So
I see all the tractors are 766s too. Is there something with that?
yeah, they're all 766 rear ends in them. So we just made them all 766s.
Ah. Got the branding iron inside of that one as well.
Yeah, Grandma found that. There's a place that makes huge amounts of decals. She found that for me. I wanted one, but talking to the international deal, oh, I can't get them anymore. So she found it and then put it on there. I was wishing it was bigger, but whatever, it works. So
Kyle Cook says it's a great tractor name out loud.
that's cool.
It's like Kyle must be a puller somewhere by the picture.
He is. He's got a hot farm, pretty sure. I think his tractor is just never satisfied as well. I think that's the name of his. So
Yeah, he pulls with that Kesenick group. He pulls South Central with Kesenick's group there.
yep.
Got a nice looking tractor and it runs strong.
Where's your favorite place to pull?
Well, 2 wins in Baraboo this year. I guess we're gonna stick with Baraboo right now.
Yeah. And that's correct.
Highland is a great place too. I gotta give Dirk a lot of credit for everything they've done there. This picture of Josh here is really great.
Yeah.
He's been fighting this thing for a long time. He changed a couple 100 pounds and changed the gear and was up in the top of the class instead of the bottom.
Is that Edgerton?
I almost thought,
Yes.
We didn't pull an Edgerton this year.
no, you sure that wasn't at Monroe? I don't know. He did real well at Monroe. The rest of the year he was in the middle of the class.
That was at Threshman's Park, that video.
Okay.
Yeah. Was it? It must have been an older one.
No, that was this year. That's Edgerton.
Yeah, that was this year.
Yep.
I'm just rolling through some video, guys. Not all of them are specific, but I wanted to get a video of Josh because he's always with Mark and Andy. So.
All right. I was thinking about Edgerton, the old pull downtown. Yeah, we did pull at Edgerton at the Threshman's Park. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other one used to be always Father's Day weekend, the Sunday after Macville.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
That's the FFA pull.
Yep.
Mark, what's the closest Badger State pull to your guys' house? I know you guys live in southeast Wisconsin.
Helenville.
Okay. Do they have light pros there?
Yeah, we pulled there this year and we got rained out beforehand, but it was all right, you know. So I'd like to see if Greg get us into Jefferson.
That's a tough one.
That's a tough one.
I've met with those fair board members before with Greg. They tell you how it's going to go.
I heard something about that in the past.
Well, they want a quick show because they want to get them back out on the grandstands. I've
Right.
learned that. I've learned a lot from going to the fair convention with Greg. I've learned how to drink, and when you shouldn't be drinking, and then I've also learned a lot from meeting with people. So it's been fun. So
I think
that's
you
great.
learned that the drinking part. You knew that before.
Yeah. Well, that's great. No, that Jefferson Fair, they have a huge carnival and they just want a nice 2.5 hour show. Greg, does that feel right? And they got Linky down there and they got Gallitz is down there and the classes are kind of decided by some sponsors and rock and roll. So Cartwright, I'm sure you could get in there if your landscaping business wanted to sponsor your class. So
Might have to do that, but my counterpart, he says we shouldn't sponsor a class, but whatever.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yep. They want to be done by 9:30 down there. Try to be. So they get everybody out in the carnival for one ride or whatever and in the beer tent a little bit.
So we got a lot of people watching tonight. If anybody has any questions about the light pro stock class, any comments for Mike, please throw them up there in the comments. And we could get those answered for Cartwrights. So Mark's been pulling since 2007. The light pro stock class is starting to gain some good momentum in the Midwest, Mark. You know, I mean, in region 2, like that Ohio, Indiana, there's you'll go out there and there'll be 30 of them in your class, and then you start going west. It's funny how there's different segments of the company or the country that really favor like a 640 or a 540 or a 466. But you're starting to see you're starting to hear more guys building for the light pro class, which it's an amazing class. And I love the horsepower to weight ratio in it. It makes it's a driver's class that, that 1,000 pounds less, and you guys are pushing high twos in horsepower. It's what pro stocks were probably 15 years ago. I'm guessing horsepower wise. I don't want to put an exact date on it, but it's a lot of fun to watch. So I love light pros.
Yeah.
I agree with you there. And that, like you say, I mean, I can remember when Madness tractor with Ladwig was pulling, and they were talking 2,500 horse. Well, we've got pushing almost to 3 now. So it's a lot of horsepower to get it down the track. And that's a big part of tires and driving. And Strandlie and his counterpart said, the old man drives harder than the kid. And the kid says, yeah, I don't want to break it. But I said, what's the difference? I got to pay for it.
But he's got to fix it though, right? The wrenching is almost as bad as the paying for it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Then
Yeah.
you got that's got a couple evenings shot.
Yep. Yep. It's hard to keep them on the track.
Well, that's when you have a rain day during the week and the company pays for fixing it.
These chassis, are your chassis between all three of them pretty similar? Did you guys build them yourself?
The Never Satisfied tractor's got a full Dave, it's got a fun air ride on it. And the other one's got Andy's tractor's got a Hasleg that's been converted to air ride. And the Leftovers tractor's got a partial Hasleg on it. Yeah, we of course bought the parts and put it all together and did all the grinding and welding and that sort of thing. The common comment is we wear out a 4-inch grinder every time we build something.
And that's a good grinder, not a cheap one.
Yeah, that's right. Milwaukee. So
other than tractor pulling, what other hobbies do you have?
work, and my wife hits me over the head for that, but that's the only thing I got going on. Andy likes to do a bunch of camping, and that's good. He's got that little 4.5-year-old daughter, and he enjoys that. And so you got the grandkids, and try and spend some time with them, and that's pretty much it.
So what hobbies would your wife like you to have?
Relax, and go on vacation. She's only 5 feet away. She's listening, John.
Well, that's good. That's good.
She's got to keep me in line,
That's a tough job and a tough woman.
You got it.
Can't hear Jason. He must have muted himself.
Yeah,
that's the only way I don't talk, Strandlie. I got to mute myself. So
That's what you did to me. Now I know.
Mark,
now I got to figure.
are there any particular pullers, Mark, that you absolutely like every single time you're like, I gotta have a perfect pass tonight to win this thing because so and so is here? Who do you respect the most?
Well, you got to give Colin a lot of the Burkhulses. You got to give Dougie, and Colin and Randy a lot of praise. Those guys have got it together. They can really read the track. You got to give them a hand in that category.
Yeah, I had a feeling you might say that. So
There's a lot of carnage in that class this year, and it was hard. Well, other classes as well, but surviving that, even like you said, heard it twice and pretty much rebuilt it twice throughout the summer. That's a lot that people don't know. You guys getting scared of the egg chassis, even with the Atlas and Profab parts on them, but how much will the cast iron take? I build tractors. I'm on the fence about them becoming components, but safety is number one. Terry Benson.
Well, I read part of that too when you were talking there. Yeah, it could be a concern down the way, but the big thing is without the weight to tie that horsepower down, I think we're going to be okay for a bit yet.
How many tractors have you built and owned through the years, and are there any that you wish you still had? Kyle Cook asked.
Well, we had, I think it's 7 that we built, and the big thing is it kind of like to have the old D21, but it's just real difficult to work with some of the older Alice's transmissions, rear ends, and of course the only way we made that thing last was put a red motor in it, and that was after Andy broke 2 crankshafts. I said, if you're going to pull it anymore, we're going red. And that's when he talked to Greg and Dirk and everybody, and they says, it's a replacement, go ahead and do it. So that's what we did.
That tractor's having pretty good success down south, isn't it? The D21.
Yes, it is. I'm sure that you're probably aware of it, Jason. Gentleman that bought it from us, him and his dad were in a bad side-by-side accident. And
Yep.
now one of the guys that was worked with him is pulling it some now. And he lost a front wheel this year, but it's for having Detroit Series 40 motor in it. He's making real good horsepower out of it.
Yep. No, that's good. Well, Mark, we need to wrap this up because I need to jump on another live at 8 o'clock. But anything else we want to say here tonight before we let you go? Again, congrats on a great season.
Well, I thank you for the time that you guys spent with me and comments that came in, and looking forward to seeing you at the banquet. So you all have a good night.
Thanks, Mark. Have a good night.
Thanks.
See you at the banquet, Mark. Congratulations again.
Oops. I didn't. John was saying something nice, Mark, and I cut you off. Sorry. So
That's no problem. I heard it. So
okay. Doug Burkholt says, "Congrats, Mark." Greg, you need to unmute yourself there. So have a great night, Mark.
thanks.
Greg, hit the unmute button there, stud. Okay, you don't know how? Did I mute you? You unmuted yourself there, Elsing. So. Yeah,
Peaceful.
he's a farmer's guy's got $17 million worth of tractors and combines on his field, and he can't turn a mute on his phone. This is awesome right now. Like Strandlie, this is like where we poke the bear.
Is that better now?
Oh, he's bad. Dang it.
I never hit it.
No, you did. You had to have because it wasn't me.
I was there. I was hit, but I didn't think I hit it.
Yeah. Now I know how
That was neat. That was neat to hear Mark's story. I didn't realize they've been pulling that long. So.
I had the Dutchman try to call me twice here
Oh, okay.
during the show.
Yeah. He
that
interviewed me through Craig a little bit ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that was a good interview. That was a good interview. We want to keep going on that. Greg, anything you want to get out about the banquet or the season or anything like that? Anything people pullers need to be doing right now?
Yeah, we just texted all the class reps about getting their rookies in for the ballots and stuff like that, and we're going to get them online. And I believe that the banquet tickets and stuff like that are online now. So you can go there and get them. And like we've always said, everybody's welcome, you know. You can come. And it's the first weekend in December, like always. So I'm pretty sure Kelly got all that stuff online today.
Okay. I'm putting the website into the chat right now for everybody. So.
Is there any raffle tickets left?
There's a few left. We'll get rid of them, but if anybody wants any, Randy Brew's got 10 yet. I know that. And there's a few around, not many. He's the only one I know for sure that has some, but Kelly would know who's got some, I think, or Jack Spots. Get a hold of them. Jack Spots would probably be the one to get a hold of.
Banquet or the season or anything like that?
What's that?
Oh, I'm flipping through videos. Sorry, Greg. So.
Oh, nope. I don't know anything special about the banquet this year, but we'll find out.
Chuck Hobbs says, I would love to attend. Well, come on up, Chuck.
Yep. Everybody's welcome. Just got to buy your meal ticket online and send it to Dirk and Amy. There's a return address on it. So.
It's good. It's live usually every year, and a lot of great people there. It's usually a packed house. Great sponsor board, and it's a fun night.
I think we had 425 seats last year. I mean, people eating. You know, some people don't eat there. They, don't sit through the banquet. A few, not many, but most people do. But they'll come into the party later on too, or whatever. But I believe the booked rooms are all done already. I don't think there's any left. But if anybody wants to stay overnight, so that went out a long time ago. That had to be done a while ago. But other than that, I have no. We're working on the sled thing. The executive board has been talking about what we need to do about sleds next year and what has to happen. So we got the ball rolling there.
Terry Benson, yes, is the answer.
Yep. Yep. All you have to do is buy the tickets online and send them to the address on it. Print it off.
And Terry, there's the website right there. All the information's on there. So.
Yep. So how many people did we have listen to the show last year or last week, Mark or Jason, by the end of the Friday?
Well, I talked to Scooter Thursday or Friday, and he was asking. We were approaching 60,000 was the reach on it on Facebook. So
that's quite a bit.
And tonight, so Facebook reaches that means the show is on 60,000 people's timelines. That the algorithm thought they should see that. We'll have a couple hundred people watching live. Like we were up to 160 or 70 tonight. A lot of people watch it live, and then we download this audio and put it on iTunes and Spotify under Let's Grow Polling. So like today, somebody texted me and said, "Hey, I listened to your, I listened to the show last week today while I was at work." So we went to the podcast a couple years ago because a lot of guys at farm said, we can't watch you live, but we want to listen to it maybe during the next day if we're combining or whatever, and they just throw it through the Bluetooth and away they go. So got a lot of people listening, and just go to iTunes or Spotify or anywhere you listen to podcasts and just type in Let's Grow Pulling, and then you'll see Badger State Tractor Pullers Monday 17th, down and dirty with the Badger State Tractor Pullers. It's easy to find. So, and then if I know ahead of time who we're going to have on, then I can put them in the title too. So if you guys know who you got lined up, let me know, and just shoot me a text, and then I will put them in the title.
For the third week in a row, I'm going to try and get Wittenbach on, and then singing Willie Deppy. Maybe next week.
I tried calling Witt when he told me to. So here's that, everybody that's watching. That's Mark Wittenbach's cell phone number. Please shoot him a text message right now and ask him why he won't come on the show. Is it me? Is it John?
I got him the stuff too late. I was out in the field and I couldn't send. I was in the combine and I couldn't send the link until I was driving home. So I should have had one of you guys do it.
Yeah, if you ever seriously, Greg, if you ever need that, just tell me. I have most everybody's number in my phone, so it's okay. All good.
Yeah, because I got it this afternoon from you, and I where we were, I could barely talk on my phone. Yeah. So all right.
Well, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna jump on Let's Grow Pulling. I gotta start a new show. John, any words of wisdom or advice here tonight? Get better internet, Strandlie. So.
Yep.
Greg, I even got my Badger State shirt on today.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
So
real quick, I went out to Mark Ulmer's birthday party in Menno, South Dakota, and we gave Mark a microphone and Esden Lane a microphone, Elsing.
Yeah.
And in a bar, and like at 5, and it was freaking awesome.
Oh, bad.
I mean, stories they were telling, and every story started with, well, when the police came.
Yep. And then it was all over.
No, we had a blast. We videoed it. We're going to get that up. But I I didn't know Tom Gillis. I didn't know a lot of those guys, Bill Webb, some of those guys back in the day. I learned a lot. It was a good time. So
Yeah.
It was a good time. So, okay, guys, I got to wrap it up. Greg, kind of let me know who you get lined up next week or Strandlie.
I will.
And John, are you on the same internet you're always on? Shake your head yes or no. You are. Must be the snow. Must be the snow. I don't know. He's lagging a little bit tonight. So you haven't ever lagged before, Strand. So.
All right.
Well, thank you for doing this. I know this is a I know it's hard, guys, to jump on every Monday night, but we got a lot of people watching. It's good for Badger State truck and tractor pullers. It's good for pulling in general to show the what I call behind the helmet is what I like to call it. We're showing off our pullers and we're growing the sport. So you guys have a great night. Thanks for watching, everybody. Every Monday night, 7 p.m., same time, YouTube, Facebook. We're going to be live. Greg and John are going to line up guests every week. And then again, like I said before, you can watch it you can listen to it or you can rewatch it anytime. Just go back to the Facebook feed, YouTube, or just go listen to it as a podcast. So Elsie, have a good night. Strandman, have a good night.
Yep. Thank you, everybody.
Peace.
Thank you, everybody. Yep. Bye.